Alright guys, such a again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Big stories emerging last night in the Call of Duty League, especially a $10,000 tournament that goes down that Zinni and the boys end up winning. But Zinni's teammate, one of his teammates in this tournament, was a Seams 12-year-old, I think he might be 13 now, brother Yousuf. We've talked about him for the last couple of years, an incredibly talented potential Call of Duty prodigy that might well take over the scene in the future. It was a big talking point of last night, as was the leaked comms from Thieves versus Toronto. That was certainly causing a bit of drama too. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Just a quick 8's watch. We know we like to do this on the channel just to say, okay, who's grinding, basically. This is what we saw yesterday. So we actually saw Simp and aBeZy playing 8s, and you don't see this very often. So, I guess they've just decided that they might play a bit, because Simp has been probably the most, I wouldn't say vocal critic precisely, because I'm not sure that quite says paints the right picture. But Simp doesn't tend to like playing 8s. Now, this is search and destroy, so maybe that's fair enough. And Simp doesn't tend to like playing respawn 8s because his feeling is, at least this is what he said historically, that it, teaches you bad habits, right? Because you're playing 8s rather than team play, and it's a little bit more free-flowing. You're probably not playing in the same way that you would with a team. Maybe you're building some bad habits. That's the argument that Simp and others have made. Others would say, look, it's still practice. You're still, let's say, learning the muscle memory of where the spawns are in certain situations and just experiencing more different occurrences. I think that's one of the reasons why 8s is good for some players anyway, is that they just play a lot of hardpoint and they get to recognize patterns, So, okay, if we do this, that will happen to the other team. So if you get into a similar circumstance with your roster, then that maybe helps you. But yeah, Simp and aBeZy getting involved. Slasher, Mack, 04, Huke and Rex. That was one of the runs. We also had another lobby, which was Arcetes involved. He was actually spectating this one, but it was Xnid Pred on the same team. Of course, nice little duo they've got going on there for the Falcons guys with Slasher and Super against Neptune, 04, Kremp and Attach. So, good to see some of these guys, especially maybe the guys struggling a bit more, grinding. I think that's the key thing. For a guy like Simp, it's never really mattered because he's Simp, right? One of the best players in the league. But when you've got the likes of Attach and Mack kind of struggling, it's nice to see them getting involved. And also just that duo with, Pred and Xnid, seeing them as well. And then we had another one. So Arcetes got in one with Kremp, 04, Slasher, Super, Ray, Xnid and Huke. So yeah, definitely a lot of names to keep an eye on. Thought this is kind of cool as well because, of course, DreamHack Dallas is coming up. That's where the 4th COD Major is going to be. And effectively, this is an aBeZy event, as far as I understand, because it's a DreamHack event, and, well, obviously the COD event is going to be there as part of the overall big convention hall. So they've got this big convention center in Dallas. There's going to be, Counter-Strike, I think, is going to be there. Halo's going to be there, I think. Obviously, Call of Duty's going to be there. There's going to be other games there as well. I'm very excited to see how this one turns out, and maybe it's going to have that feel of like an old school COD event. We'll see what actually happens at this event, but I'm picturing something like, I don't want to say it's going to be exactly Anaheim, but the way that Anaheim was, this big convention hall, and they had all the room, they could basically do what they want with everything in the venue. It's not really been like that in COD for the last couple of years. I think it's going to have that kind of like old school vibe, and I thought it was cool to see that Adam was talking to the flank guys and talking to the OpTic guys as well to make sure that they'll come to the venue and stop by, which obviously is a bit of a no-brainer when they live just down the road, I would say. And Hex is like, absolutely, for sure, we will be there. Speaking of the 8s, actually, for aBeZy, just thought I'd quickly mention this. It's nice to see players go down this route because we talked about it a lot with OpTic and Shotzzy over the last few days, the fact that they're turning off the streams for their scrims, which I think is perfectly fair enough. Obviously, I'd like to see how they're getting on, but I would also like to see how other teams are getting on, but nobody seems to want to. Despite the fact that many players this year have taken pay cuts, been forced to take pay cuts, it doesn't seem like the commitment to making good content, or really just any content, exists to many of these guys. So I thought it was cool to see that aBeZy is going to try and take the next step, be posting more content, posted his first short on TikTok, so always will support players, helping support the scene in some way. But also, speaking of content, the league finally came out with a comms video that isn't OpTic related. So they did this one from a big series, right? It's Toronto versus Thieves, big series to close out the weekends. Of course, Toronto got the win in 5. They took down Thieves, and it was interesting for Thieves because they were on a 12 series win streak in their online play, not including the LAN, of course, but a 12 series win streak online, and they got shut down here by the Bell Fiber. And that's effectively what Ghosty seems to imply. But look, we know that Ghosty's a bit of a rager when he plays, and I think his comments are always kind of interesting, but what he said about Beans was pretty interesting. He was like, look, I just keep getting joked by Beans, which, you know, when people say getting joked, it basically means, wow, this guy's internet is nice. That's the read between the lines on that one. And it's fascinating for Toronto because they seem to have these games where they will just slam teams or they will get slammed. And it does feel like internet is a factor in play there. Clearly the Toronto internet, that Bell fiber is strong. Like nobody is denying that. But it's just the servers, like the way that it works with the different servers where they play teams from certain regions. For example, against Boston, they always seem to have a hard time. And we saw that not long ago where they literally forfeited the series. So I'll share this clip here, what Ghosty had to say on Beans and the rest of the moments as well. And then a couple of clips in this $10,000 tourney that goes down last night with lots of entertaining reaction.
Play like yourself for no win 3 in no time.
Heard that. Can't be worse.
Imagine that you think a fat sneeze is coming and your heart just starts seizing up.
Yeah, your heart just literally stops working.
If you play well the next
Ultra.
major, we might get top 6.
Talk to each other, use each other's names.
Yep.
Just gotta make it easy, get a kill. Ready, break.
If you play well though.
Only if I play well.
You said ready, break.
Bang, bang, into the room.
Chimney,
I have a car too, if you want me to car.
Our side chimney.
I don't care if you get a fucking RC car, you do not call it in, bro.
They're gonna go B. They're gonna go B. You have a car too, Dill.
Ignore the fucking thing.
Am I carring? Am I carring? Yes. Yes. You're carring A. You're carring A.
Do not call that goddamn car in.
RCs, I'm never using one again. Useless.
Nice. Come out, boys.
Just thinking, do I channel in a Dashy and go the OpTic camo for the street shells? Or do I go Boston to counter the Thieves? It's the $1 million question. I go Boston. I go Boston.
Wait.
Shout out Big Wake.
Shaking my hand, oh my god, you're checked. Shake my fucking hand.
Bang, bang, into the room.
Come on.
I'm getting choked by B. Yeah, it's all good. Bro, I'm telling you, the P3s, I'm literally spawning into gunfights, bro. They were watching me spawn on the P2s.
I actually feel like I haven't played League Match in about 3 years.
Let's go, man.
Just go. Just keep the same. I'm gonna hold mine again. Last time, same thing. You got a trophy here? You got a trophy here or no? No. They're nading everything. I got bows. That one.
Nice, man.
Let's go.
No, they broke.
Let's go, man. What are they doing? 5-1? What are we doing?
Unbelievable.
What are we doing?
Unbelievable to switch names.
Holy shit!
That was lit.
Benjay.
Absolutely, Benjay. Congrats, Benjay. Congrats, Benjay. The crowd goes crazy. The crowd goes crazy for Benjay.
Go, man.
Mastermind up.
Scrappy, let's go.
Hey, Tomas.
Big right now. Oh no.
Tomas, unbelievable.
Oh. He's got 41. He's got 41 real kills.
How many EKIs does he have?
Oh.
Oh.
Wow.
That is it.
He
GG.
shot Blake's body again.
Holy hell.
Yousuf, how do you feel, Yousuf? How do you feel?
I feel good, bro.
That's it? You feel
MVP
good?
of the tournament, Yousuf. Give us some thoughts.
I'm Jay. Thanks for the... Yousuf, what's going through your mind right now?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yousuf, what do you...
He's a demon. He's a demon. He's a demon.
I got a question for you. Why were you shooting Blake's body? Why were you constantly shooting his
Hey,
body?
I thought it was Echo.
Oh, you thought he was Echo the 5 times you shot Blake's body?
Yeah. No, because
the 5 times you shot Blake's body.
That's insane.
no, because Echo was tripping Fatty before the match. That's why.
Oh, so he's back in beef team. Okay, then that's fair, Z.
You keep shooting Blake's body, though.
I said sorry. I said sorry. I said sorry.
Okay, but what about the red card? You just shot his body again. You just shot Blake's body again in the red card.
No, I didn't. Wait, I did?
Yes, you did. You're gonna have to go.
He was locked in.
Crack, you didn't even realize.
You're gonna have to go. Nice, Tony.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Nice, Tony. Nice, Tony.
Okay.
He woke up. He woke up.
Okay.
The marinara's flowing.
It's done. It's Fat Tony. Look at him go. He's still going.
He's
He's
flowing, baby.
He's back. He's back. What the hell? Is he lagging out?
What was that? Oh, the game just hoed him.
So this was a really cool tournament, right, that these guys put together. Getting aBeZy involved as well and others was always an entertaining one. So it's not like the level of competition was necessarily the strongest that you're ever going to see. But yeah, the reverse sweep comes through big time. But the big talking point of this was aSeem's 12-year-old brother. I don't know if he's 12 or 13 now. I'm not exactly sure. But his brother Yousuf. Now, we've talked about Yousuf before. I think last year, certainly last year, maybe even the year before as well, there was talk about this kid because, you know, aSeem's obviously been a very notable pro player for a number of years. And Yousuf is maybe taken after, you know, the footsteps in some way because he was cooking in this tourney, right? So aBeZy and Z put on this 10k tournament and Methods got to play with Yousuf. And look, Methods also was cooking, right? Don't get me wrong, like he was looking nice. I know that Zinni, he is probably, I mean, I've said it before, but he is probably the one pro player who is now retired, who would just love to come back, right? Like, he's always talking about it, that he really has that itch for competition again. And I know that it doesn't really make sense for Zinni to try a comeback, but I know that I know that he probably goes to sleep at night thinking about it anyway. So it's nice to see him back in some sort of a competitive environment. But it's a big talking point when you've got a player this talented at that kind of an age, making waves in the scene. And of course, they went on to win the entire thing when, you know, they won the tournament to the ends with Yousuf, Zinni, Fatty, and then Luon. And as aSeem put in the replies here, right, nobody could mess with this duo. So, you know, I thought this was pretty cool to look at, of course, Zinni from back in the day, and then, of course, Yousuf who made the thumbnail. So, thought that was kind of, like, interesting, really. But it's a big talking point, right, because challenges and the state of challenges in the league has been a big conversation topic now for some time. And when you've got a player this young and this talented who cannot compete for another several years, it's a big talking point. People are saying, oh, Yousuf's going to be, you know, future world champion. Maybe he is. Is the league going to exist in 6 years' time when he's eligible to play, or 5 years' time when he's eligible to play? You know, maybe not. That's another question for sure. But equally, should it be possible for him to play a little earlier, right? Because, you know, he's 13 years old, frying in a tourney like this, and with the potential that this kid has, clearly he could be a serious talent for the future, and that's a very exciting prospect, I think, for the league. But fundamentally, the guy wouldn't even be able to play challenges for another several years, let alone get involved, you know, on a, let's say, path to pro program that might make sense. I think Zinni was mentioning it last night, but I think for Yousuf, given the talent that he has with a controller in hands and just to get clearly gaming in general, he might be better served playing another game. And it's sad to say, like, it's really sad to say, as clearly, you know, aSeem loves cards, had lots of success playing cards. Yousuf loves cards, may well continue to have lots of success playing cards. And yet there's people in the community saying, yeah, Yousuf, you're probably better off not playing cards and going, you know, taking your talent elsewhere because of the state of the scene, the state of challenges, and the state of trying to become a pro player. And I think that's something that really the league needs to think seriously about, is how it's possible that we have this, you know, potential young prodigy who may be, you know, growing into the scene over the next few years, who may end up becoming a pro in a different game because COD couldn't provide the right pipeline. That is certainly the concern anyway. But intrigued to your perspective in the comments below. Congratulations to the champions as always, and that's pretty much where we are going to leave it for today. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.